He'll check sale barn prices and see what they're doing. Today they were just ridiculous. So I'm not worried. 3,000 is still a hearty reminder. It's not a slap in the face. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, it is a, unfortunately, slightly cool Monday afternoon. So on the dock for today, we're gonna start out by putting the manure bucket on. We gotta clean out the bale feeder because their hay bale has gotten, for the steers, has gotten pretty waterlogged. So we're gonna throw that in for bedding. Get a new bale in there. These weeds, apparently my weed killer that I put on yesterday definitely is taking effect, which is kind of nice. It's mostly Roundup, and I put just a little bit of 2,4-D in there, because it seems like 2,4-D really will knock it down, and then hopefully the Roundup will come in and kill it. And that's just in a little handheld spray bottle. The first few days of this week are probably going to be, you know, normal feed type stuff. And then we'll be getting that discbine ready to go. So that's what we're going to do after today. After we're done here, we're going to go start working on the discbine. It's been a couple of years since we've swapped out the fluids in the gearboxes. So we're going to do that this year. The last couple of years, it's just been kind of, it's topped off and there's no water in it, and they're still sealed up nice. And then do all the normal service like greasing and things like that, and checking those individual gearboxes for oil levels and stuff like that. So then after we plug away at that for a couple hours tonight, then I'll come back and I'll rotate the cows. I really don't have to do anything to them other than just open it up and flip them around the corner. Well, after a 15-minute rain delay, we finally got down here to the shop. Got feeding done. It goes pretty quick when it's like literally one bale. And again, I'll move the cows when I get back down there. So I'll show a little bit of that. As the cows are actually going into my favorite chunk because it's literally right next to the house. All right, so New Holland 1411 discbine. Ordered some new blades today. Hopefully they're here sooner than later. So we got the main gearbox right here. We've actually had to replace the guts of this guy. That was expensive. And then we've got another fairly main gearbox here. So we're placing oil in those. Alright, so here's the actual drain plug for that gearbox, but we're going to take the tower off because we take it off anyways every year. You want to pop the top?
Pop the top again. Starting to rain.
All right, so we're back home. We're able to change the oil on the two main gearboxes on the side. So right now, I'm gonna put my boots on because it's wet out. And then we're gonna flip the cows over. They still have grass on that chunk, but I think they're just ready to move, which is fine. All I gotta do is open the gate, flip them over, and then I'm probably gonna pick their line, the old back line, up. These guys are doing really nice. Factor's doing a good job, right, buddy? Looking good. And we got Whitey Gergs' calf. That thing is nice. She is gonna give Deja's heifer a run for her money, but she's looking really good too. Dad asked me today how many heifers we wanted to keep. Just the price of beef today was ridiculous at some of the sale. Dad will check sale barn prices and stuff. Here's one of our mic drop heifers. He'll check sale barn prices and see what they're doing. Today they were just ridiculous, and asked how many heifers we were gonna keep. And I said, right now I'm at about 4 to 5. And I'm really actually starting to get wet. But I'd like to pick up that temp line. All right, so we're just gonna deal with it. Okay, so now if you look at the difference, I'm walking right down the line. This is where they just were, and this is the one they were a little bit before. And I had said I kind of pushed them on this one a little bit. But what I like, you know, so we won't necessarily use this chunk as much of an example, but they still did. They left, for the most part, 6 inches or so of stubble. You got some spots that were naturally a little more bare, but I'd say on average they left about 6 inches. But then you come over here and more stubble. Now you're starting to get a little bit of trample action. Here they left a little bit, but that'll be all right. You know, because a couple things you want to accomplish with rotational grazing is, one, you want to leave some stubble, some nice stubble to encourage regrowth, because kind of what you see on the outside is what you see underneath the ground. So if you leave, you know, only an inch or two of stubble, well, you only probably have an inch or two of root. If you leave 4 or 5 or 6 inches of stubble, now you're talking you have that same in root. And more stubble means a little more shade on the ground, so it don't dry out so much. That's the other nice thing about the trampling, is you're helping getting dry matter dry matter on the ground, helping to shade it. You know, it's all good stuff. So did they waste a little bit? No, because it'll grow back nice. And hopefully these guys have stopped running around, which would be nice. One small negative, they did this entrance on the field, they chewed up a little bit, but I think this will come back okay. Usually does. If not, we got extra oat seed. I'll throw some oats in here. But I did choke them off pretty good there. They know how to get on and off the field, so I'll really minimize any additional traffic. I mean, I usually probably would have brought that back to like here and then back over, but they don't need it. So yeah, plenty of feed on here. Should make it 2 days, no problem. This one right here, this is that puffy face mic drop out of a cowboy cut. And we got Fats McGee back there, our bold ruler heifer. Probably not getting any skinnier. All right, who's primed for a photo op? Here's our first True Justice heifer, CF 913. Really nice cow. Whitey Gergs is looking good. See how early she breeds back this year. So far the last 2 years, she's gained 5 weeks in each of the last 2 years. And then, oh, Barb is starting to look respectable again. I'm liking it. I knew she would start coming on once she just got a few extra groceries in. Little extra groceries, got on grass. I think whatever she was dealing with when she aborted her calf last fall, she's over that and getting back on the straight and narrow. So here's our steer that should have been a bull, our bull ruler bull for the year. Here's one of our other cowboy cut daughters. Second calver. I think she's gonna look really good by the time we get to the end of summer. Got goggle girgs. We got, oh, that's Phantom. This is Puffy Face again. Probably get some pictures, good pictures when I get out, get on the other side of the fence. For whatever reason, they always come up to the fence. Here's Photo's daughter right here. She is on the keep list. She has been like thick since day one. I mean, like, she came out thick. And then we've got our True Justice daughter. I'm done getting wet because it's still like misting out. So I think I'm gonna head in and call her a day. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, it is Tuesday afternoon on a unseasonably cool day. Ordered new knives yesterday from Shoop for the discbine, and they showed up today, so that's awesome. So we can start swapping those out, which isn't a hard process. It's a little tedious, but that's about it. So we're gonna take care of the bedding and we'll head down to the shop. So when you're looking at timing these things up, you want these to be straight and horizontal. So you want to try and get them as close as possible. So if you start on this end, this guy is almost a notch off. So I'm going to start working on that. Maybe I don't have them totally timed up the greatest. Alright, I think we have these timed up pretty good. One issue you run into is, and you notice it more when the turtles are on, is, you know, how much slop there is, how much you could turn one. You know, like I'm turning this one. You know, I can there's not a lot of slop in this one at all. But you notice it more when the turtles are on. So I think we're pretty darn close. All right, it is Wednesday afternoon. I'm gonna move the cows first. So what that means today, and they are gonna get a little bit bigger chunk than they normally do. We are going down the alley, and then they're gonna go kind of into that area there. So I'm gonna collect my posts, make sure I have enough, and then I'll meet you down there. All right, we made it down here. What we're gonna try and do normally, because this alley itself is almost a day's worth. Actually, it is very close to a day's worth. I would normally go off about right here. I'm gonna go almost to here. I wanna make sure that I'm giving them a really nice hearty chunk, because I'm not gonna be able to move them tomorrow night. Well, I'm not gonna move them tomorrow night, Thursday night, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to move them Friday night. So I wanna make sure they have enough food to get to Saturday. If I gotta move them early on Saturday, not a huge deal. But that's how we're gonna set up, and we'll see what works. All right, what do we got going on here? So we are anchored right here. We're coming along here, and then we're gonna bend back that way. But something I did a little different last year when it got really wet, this kind of got wallowed out a little bit. So to help prevent this from getting any worse, and hopefully as it dries out, maybe some grass will start growing here. Maybe we get some hay or something in there, but just trying to keep them out of here. It will be live. I got to get another post for over there. My only concern is when they come this way that they don't cut the corner too much and just run that all over. So I don't think they will. I think they'll see it, but I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we? I just gotta make sure. Yeah, tons of clover. You want some clover? This is where we're at. It's all clover. Oh, hey, look at that. This is actually the second one I found today. Look at that sucker. Awesome. Now is there another one close by? Yes. Here's another one. That guy right there. All right, let's get these cows because they're antsy. Dad's here, so he's naturally antsy. And get these girls onto some fresh grass. Since the cows are on that east stretch, Dad reminded me, or he asked me, he's like, oh, you got good current? I'm like, I don't know. But it actually is a good opportunity. It is a good time to actually check it, because now we're actually dealing with more of a large loop. I would want about 5,000 volts is a good number. We're always used to just using one like this. That was actually only at about 3,000. So I'm not worried. 3,000 is still a hearty reminder. It's not a slap in the face, but it'll be fine. All right, so Dad got all of the pods swapped over to new knives. Nice job. Now, as we put them on, we got to check all the gearbox oil. So it's just that dipstick in the back, which we just have to find either the right socket, or do we always use a crescent wrench?
Socket.
Okay. And we'll check those one by one. Got plenty of oil. And then we also got to change this gearbox up front. So roll on. All right, so what we did find out, I thought this was just oil originally yesterday from when we spilled some, from when we changed this guy. This, I sprayed all this out, so it was cleaned out yesterday. This is all new oil. That seal is out in here under this cup. So just called the implement dealer. They're gonna get one from Thorpe. Should be here on Saturday. Discbine is 99% done. We got to do that seal. That was kind of a bummer. You know, I think what it was is there's that cup that sits up in there, and what's really stupid is that the bolts that hold the cup on go through this plate that holds the seal and then pulls everything tight. And I think that's part of, there must be like a roller bearing in there or something. but it's dumb because those are through holes, and if you take those bolts out, the oil comes out. So I can't just take that cup off, clean all that stuff off the seal, like, you know, I don't know. It would be like a 15-minute job, and that's it. It'd be super simple. But unless you're just waiting for an oil bath, I mean, you could take it off and just, you know, let oil drip, just replace it, I guess, and do it a couple times a year. But I mean, whoever designed it, that was kind of a dumb idea. But cows got moved. They are happy, so they're right there. So that was nice. They still have this bale they never liked. We'll pull that out. We'll probably use that for bedding. They still have a little bit left from what I gave them last night. And honestly, they will hardly be back up here because there's a little bit of water in that drain ditch. They'll probably start drinking on that. But hopefully, I know the bull was up here earlier. I saw him. We'll keep an eye on them, see how they do. Tomorrow, I won't be doing anything farm related. And Friday, just a little bit, I think. We'll see.